Arteta doesn't really care about the boy.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I think that's a really poor decision. I do, because it's about Arteta. It's all about Arteta.
Rather lads, welcome back to Kossi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kossi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. Now we're going to be diving into Mikel Arteta and the clash with TalkSport. Of course, you know, over the weekend, Mikel Arteta decided to give youngster Nwaneri his debut in the Premier League, making him the youngest ever player to play in the Premier League at 15 years and around 189 days. Now, the other players who have played in the Premier League at such young age, you have the likes of Harvey Elliott, you have the likes of Cesc Fabregas, and a couple of other players, by the way. I was so shocked that a couple of players made their debuts at 16, and I think the youngest has been 16, really. Mikel Arteta's broken the record to give the youngest player at 15 years and 189 days. Now, look, I think many Arsenal fans were really okay with this. Many footballing fans were really happy with this. TalkSport's Jason Cundy was not happy with this. He thinks Mikel Arteta did this from a purely subjective, a purely selfish motive, a purely biased position. And of course, he thinks, and this is his reasoning. We're gonna be listening to the interview, but his reasoning is Mikel Arteta decided to give Nwaneri his debut so that he can take the credit of playing the youngest ever Premier League player.
Look, we've had an argument before the show. We've talked about it. The young lad, the 15-year-old who comes on, becomes the youngest Premier League player ever. Nwaneri, the 15-year-old, come on for Arsenal in the dying moments. Arteta put him on. They're winning 3-0. This is what he said about it. He said it was a pure gut feeling. I met the boy. We really liked what I saw. Per Mertesacker and the academy staff are giving me really good information on him. He's trained with us a couple of times. Yesterday he had to come because we have injuries, especially the injury to Martin Odegaard, and then I had that feeling from yesterday, if the opportunity could come, I was going to do it, and I just did it. What is your take on that?
Look, congratulate him, because what an achievement. You know, I don't take anything away from what he's done there, because what an achievement. I love the way the Arsenal fans were singing He's Got School in the Morning, the way they were chanting, because, you know, he's made everyone, his parents, everyone at the academy, his school, everyone that's had an input on his career. Congratulations, because that is an unbelievable achievement. I'm delighted for him on a personal level.
Is there a big buck coming?
There is a big buck coming.
Okay,
Arteta doesn't really care about the boy.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I think that's a really poor decision. I do, because it's about Arteta. It's all about Arteta. I have the manager that played the youngest ever player in the Premier League is me. I think that's self-indulgent. And when I saw the kid on the bench, I remember thinking to myself, it's great for him there being on the bench. I was on the bench at 17, right? First time I was on the bench, right?
Yeah.
I never got on. But I remember being on the bench. So I'm thinking, what a brilliant experience for the kid, right?
Yeah.
And when he's warming up and coming on, I'm thinking, this is ridiculous. This has got nothing to do with the kid. Nothing to do. This is all about Arteta. All about him, self-indulgent. Look what I've done. I've given the youngest ever player his appearance in the Premier League, and I don't think this has got anything to do with anything else other than that. And I think it's a really poor decision.
That is the debate going on around the media. That is the debate trending everywhere on social media and Twitter and YouTube and everywhere. So literally, Jason Cundy thinks Mikel Arteta's decision to give Nwaneri his debut at 15 is purely selfish. It is purely ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense, and it is so egoistic of Mikel Arteta, because he gave the youngster 4 minutes of Premier League football. Now, I mean, you could think about this in whichever way you want. There is no thinking like an Arsenal fan. There is no thinking like an opposition fan, or anything like that. But one thing we know is in the Premier League, we've seen so many youngsters get their debuts, and they've gone on to have very beautiful careers. Just Fabregas at Arsenal is one of them, and he's one of the youngest players ever to captain this Arsenal side. But again, the question is, if Jason Cundy was a pundit by then, what would he have said? He would have said, Arsene Wenger giving Cesc Fabregas a debut at that age, it is absolutely ridiculous. So why this debate doesn't make any sense for me, and why I think Jason Cundy doesn't really make any points in this kind of with that kind of punditry, is there is a question whether Mikel Arteta still has a huge point to desperately prove. Now, I know Mikel has has invested over 400 million quid in this Arsenal side. 3 years at the helm of at Arsenal. He needs to give the fans something. But I don't think Arteta right this season is desperate to do anything like giving a 15-year-old his debut to try to salvage himself, to try to to redeem any kind of salvation. I don't think so. The reason that Mikel Arteta is doing, that Mikel Arteta gave Ethan Nwaneri his debut, just to prove a point that he has given the youngest Premier League player ever his debut, doesn't make any sense. In my opinion, I say this in the morning show, and I'm gonna say this again. If his reason was if his reason was that this could psychologically affect Ethan Nwaneri, I would understand. I would listen. Probably not understand, but I would listen. But to come out and slam a manager of the youngest Premier League side, it's absolutely ridiculous. On average, Arsenal is the youngest Premier League side right from last season to this season. So you cannot slam our manager by for playing a young player. If we had played a guy who's 41, probably among us 23-year-olds, 22-year-olds, 21-year-olds, 19-year-olds, that's quite odd. But we are the youngest team in the Premier League, average age, right, for 2 consecutive seasons. And we've played a young player. How is that even news? How is that even odd? How is that a point to talk about on the breakfast show, on the sports bar? I don't even care, on TalkSport. It doesn't make any sense. Yes, the record has been set, and I think Ethan Nwaneri is not going to play every game for Arsenal. This campaign probably is going to go back with the under-17s and everything, but this is a huge moment. This is a historical moment in Ethan Nwaneri's in Ethan Nwaneri's life and career, and it's so absurd. It is a shame that he goes back home and wants to listen to radio, wants to watch TV and see what pundits have said about him being the youngest Premier League player, about him, making his debut in the Premier League at 15, because that is the dream of many players in the French League, in the German Bundesliga, in the Austrian Bundesliga. All over the world, people want to play in the Premier League. They don't care whether they're sitting on the bench of a Premier League side. We've seen the celebrations of clubs from the Championship to the Premier League. It is a huge moment, and Ethan Nwaneri is seated there in his parents' couch, listening to TalkSport, watching TV, and there is all this slander that is really unjustifiable. In my opinion, it is quite unjustifiable because, listen, the only way Jason Cundy, TalkSport, and all the people who believe that Mikel Arteta shouldn't have given this boy a debut are correct is if Ethan Nwaneri, is affected negatively. But I don't think it affects him negatively. I think it's just kind of a reward. In my opinion, it's a little way of appreciation. You've done well. You've been exceptional. All the people, Ryan Ferdinand was speaking about it today, and he said all the coaches that he spoke to about Ethan Nwaneri have said the same thing. They've not seen a 15-year-old perform at that level so consistently, right? So Mikel Arteta giving him a debut, I don't see how that is a problem. Honestly, I mean, I could. Maybe I'm not thinking right here. Probably I'm not thinking right here. But if I'm thinking right, I don't see how that is a problem. I honestly don't find. I can't find reasons enough, to justify that as a problem. Like I said, we are the youngest team in the Premier League currently. We've played. Our average age is 22, 23, right? And then we played a 15-year-old That is literally what we are doing at the club. Likes of Saka, the likes of Gabriel Martinelli. That is where they've come from, and the likes of Ethan Nwaneri following in that path. I don't know. I don't see how that is a problem. And the other thing I don't understand with the English media and Arsenal, we've received a lot of slander. We've received a lot of negative press in the this season. We've won 7 out of our 8 opening games in all competitions after preseason, and there is nothing positive being covered about this Arsenal side. It amuses me. It absolutely amuses me. It's not only in the UK, it's in the press everywhere. From Bain Sports remarks of Arsenal celebrating a win against Fulham, like they're celebrating the title, while they didn't say the same statement against Liverpool, because Liverpool drew 2-2 with Fulham. When Arsenal beat Fulham 2-1, they shouldn't celebrate. Arsenal must not celebrate when they edge Fulham 2-1. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense for me. It's something that I look on and I'm like, what exactly are they going on about here? Is it bad that we've become a better side? Because 13 months ago, when we lost 3 games in a row at the beginning of the season, they were making a lot of money. There was a lot of views. Everyone was absolutely, getting their opinions about Arsenal. What is going on at Arsenal? What the hell is happening at Arsenal? I don't even see videos of how Mikel Arteta has turned around this Arsenal side. I don't even see it. I've just done a video praising Mikel Arteta on my channel. It was live, and we talked about it. I don't see that in the press. I don't see that in the media. It's all about, well, Arsenal anytime soon they're gonna get out. They're gonna get off the top of the table, and they will get where they belong. It's like it's too opinionated. The punditry is too opinionated, and it lacks facts for me. It just lacks enough research. It's a topic that for me shouldn't be discussed. In that trajectory in the first place, right? And I think it should. The few remarks should be: Ethan Nwaneri, youngest player ever to play in the Premier League. Congratulations. Let's see what his career is going to be like. I don't think there is a lot to talk about Ethan Nwaneri, and because he's not done a lot for Arsenal. He didn't score a goal. He didn't, grab a yellow card or red card. I don't see why he grabs the headlines. But of course, the international break is another reason. Pundits have nothing to talk about. So it's all about, this kind of slander and negative press. For me, I don't understand, honestly, why Arsenal should get all that kind of negative press. I don't understand why, and it makes no sense. But anyway, in the comment section, talk to me. What do you think about Jason Cundy's comments? Mikel Arteta should not have played Ethan Nwaneri in that game. And if he decided to play him, it should have been 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I've seen games enough for over 10 years now. And managers do introduce players for seconds. And we've seen this. It's not a new concept that has been invented by Super Mikel Arteta. It's not that. I mean, managers bring on substitutions for time wastage, and no one speaks about it, right? It's ridiculous, isn't it? And Ethan Nwaneri coming on for a few minutes just to feel what the kind of Premier League, the chance, the inspiration, and all that suddenly is a problem. And the next weekend, when Antonio Conte or Eric Ten Hag is playing Manchester City and they're leading 1-0 and it is 90+4, and he introduces probably Anthony Martial from the bench in the 92nd minute, it will be absolutely all right. It doesn't make sense. It literally doesn't make any sense, honestly. It just shows for me how the punditry just lacks quality. There is a lot of nonsense in that show. There was a lot of nonsense in that show. In the comment section, talk to me what you think about that one. Are you impressed with the comments of Jason Cundy? Do you back Mikel Arteta? Are you against Mikel Arteta playing Ethan Nwaneri? In my opinion, it's all right. It's absolutely all right. Ethan Nwaneri is going to have the career he should have. I mean, it's all about working hard. It's not all about the talent. If the guy is special, if the boy is special, let him go on have a special career. I don't think playing in the Premier League at 15 destroys his career. I also don't think if he didn't play, it would have destroyed his career. So either way, the slander, the slamming Mikel Arteta is receiving on this one is purely unjustified. Hit the subscribe button and of course subscribe to Kossi's Arsenal podcast, and I'll speak to you in the next one.
Well, because he probably doesn't want to put him right in the deep end in his first game. This is, for him, this is an opportunity. He's obviously impressed. He's obviously done well. They obviously see something in him. You know, you talk about Mertesacker and Edu. You know, I was at the Arsenal Academy, Jason, an incredible, one of the best academies in the world.
I don't doubt.
All right, they produce young players that come through the system.